So let's get this bracket done. So we've got a connection to the beam. We're going to take that one from here. We're going to put this over there so we know where it's going to go. Except obviously it's a bit too high for the telly. I have been looking. I'm going to show you now what our next issue is, what we've got to get over. But today is about the angle of the dangle. The angle of the dangle has got to be right because this isn't flat. This bar's curved and we've got this oddness here. Yeah, so if I welded that square on there, that wouldn't work because the angle of the dangle wouldn't be right. So that has to come down vertically. This has to be welded, not square, if you get what I mean. Look, there's going to be that much of a hole this one there. There's going to be that much of a gap under there. So we've got to get around that somehow. And we've got to get this angle of the dangle correct. Let me show you what our problem is. So we've got a good solid mount coming off this beam. Fine, so that's going to be sticking out to about there somewhere. And then we've got to come down from there. And I think the telly is way bigger than this one. Way bigger than that one. We've got to get it beyond this, so we've got to get it up here. We've not got to let it go too high, or we've got to put it behind this bulb, haven't we? It looks like this lot's got to go. That's all right, they swing out the way. So because we know that sits on the same steel lintel as this one, we know it's going to be level. So what we do here is virtually going to happen over there, because when we'll get this and we'll slide it along, or we'll connect it and push it along to where we want it there. So let's go and do a bit of measuring, and then we'll get technical and I'll show you how we're going to create the angle of the dangle. And I must remember, don't measure from the roof, measure from the bottom of the beam. Yeah, don't measure from the roof, the top. That's the highest point, so we're going to come 1 or 2 inches below there. Allow for that. So let's go do some measuring. Started to dismantle this. Well, we're going to have to put it together because we're going to have to use this bracket in the end. Yeah. So anyway, this is virtually the center of there, isn't it? That's the center line. It's going to run through this bracket. So let's measure to the center. So the center from the top of the television to there is a foot. From the top of the television is a foot, but we want to keep away from that. So we want to go 14. 14, the center, yeah, the center of the back of the television has got to be 14 foot, hasn't it? Did I just say 14 foot? I meant 14 inches. So 14 inches, the middle of that bracket, there's a 14. Oh, it's not going to be too bad, you know. So the middle of the bracket would be here if we, yeah, 14. There's the bottom of there. There's the bottom of there. We said 14 inches, didn't we? This is sort of in place. This is sort of where we're going to be. So the middle of the bracket's going to be here somewhere. So we have got room to come down a bit or even go up a bit. So 14, it's about here. So let's mark the center of where we want to be is about there. X marks the spot. So it's 40, well, I've put 15 inches actually. That's 15 inches. So that's going to be the middle of the bracket. This holds the telly. And as it happens, look, as fate would have it, that looks pretty straight, doesn't it? I've only just clamped it for now. And I wasn't going to do that. I was going to come to the edge and I was going to cut a lip, weld this front edge on, and then bend it until it was straight. But this looks pretty straight. Let's put a level on that. I was hoping that would do the trick and we'd just copy it, but we're still going to be out, aren't we? So we need to be there. So still a gap. I don't know if that bracket would handle that tolerance. Let's try and make it level, and that will give us room to be out a bit, won't it? That will take up the adjustment, can take that up then. So let's have a look at this and see what we're going to do, or what I've got in mind. So if you can, when you're bolting something to the roof, bolting something to the beam, try and make it so that you can undo it and then unclip it, rather than you would undo it and immediately it would fall to the ground. In this case, it's going to work just fine because it can stay there independently. You can unbolt it, take your clamp off, it sits there, and then you take the weight down, rather than the moment you've loosened it, the moment that bolt or whatever fixing you've got there loses its grip, the damn thing falls down. So always try and, if you're fixing to the roof, make the weight hang, hold, whether it be a wire or some sort of safety sort of clip, so that it doesn't fall down the moment you undo it. But in our case, it sustains itself up there, so it's not quite so dangerous. So anyway, Oh, let me tell you my plan. We're going to keep that. We're going to cut this tab off here, cut this tab off here. We'll keep them for strength, because we're going to be burning up to that. And what I'm going to do, so I'm going to cut a slot down here and a slot down here. I'm going to weld this face. Let's clean this up good and proper like it should be done, which is going to be that face, because can you see, look, it's not only arched, but it's not always level, is it? So what we'll do is we'll weld this front, we'll cut this tip, this lip here, and we'll weld that face on, and then we'll bend that. We'll bend the whole thing so that it's hanging down, because actually when it's in place, hold on, actually stay there, lean up against there, that's it, lean up against there, right? So it's not a case of just fitting it there, and we've got to do this with it, haven't we? We've got to do that with it. So the first step, take them off. That'll help us. It's pretty thick material, this, anyway, so I'm not too worried about burning holes in it. So take the strength, take the corner strength out of it, put a cut on this face here, put a cut on that face there, cut this off, weld that edge on so it's held on by just one edge, and then we'll bend that down like a flap, won't we? And it'll end up something like that, won't it? And then we'll make a plan on filling it or just making a plate. But we're going to have to really, because it's a dangling thing, and the television's going to be dangling off it, we've got to try and do the best job that we can. So the first thing we're going to do is really clean this up, really clean, back to nice metal, grind it all back because it's thick enough. Same as this, clean it all up as clean as we can clean it. Yeah, that's the plan anyway, that's the plan. Oh, am I an evil genius or am I an evil genius? We're going to put that there. We're going to just weld the edge of that tab there, like that, look. We're going to hang that there, and then we're going to bash it over. Yeah, we don't want it to go too easy, but we want it not to snap off. Weld this onto there, and that should be a weak enough point that we can bend it over and get the angle of the dangle that we want. So let's give that a go. So we're going to hold that in place with one of these magnetic corners. They're great for holding things, and it's going to be, well, straight doesn't matter to us, but it's great for holding something in place when it's this big. You don't have to clamp it or crimp it, or, you know, just let it sit there. These magnetic corners are really handy. So, moment of truth. It's either going to hold or it's going to snap off. Oh no, look, it's going. It feels very, ooh, it almost feels as if it's going to snap off any minute. Let's have a look at that. Let's put that in place and see how we get on. We might have to do it there. It feels as if any minute now that's just going to snap off, but for now it's held on, and that's all we want it to do. And now it seems to be holding on. Yeah, that's on that surface we want, isn't it? Oh, I think any minute now it's going to go crack and bang. Oh, hey, that's straight in it. It's less straight that way. It's less straight that way. But for now, I'm not worried about that. We could maybe put a spacer or twist this or something. Let's not worry about that. This is what we want. We want the angle of the dangle, don't we? What's that saying? Needs to come out a smidge. Oh, it's so fragile. I think, by George, we've got it. Yeah, look at that. The angle of the dangle is correct-ish. Reggie correct. Pretty darn close. There's a little bit of this going on there. Let's get a smaller level. Smaller level. Oh, yeah, sweet. Right. So, how are we going to hold that angle of the dangle? How are we going to hold and carry on with that angle of a dangle? Let's have a look. So we're going to use our square that isn't a square. This will adjust whichever way you want. It's not really ideal on the corner, but it's going to do for what we want. I've already put it there, look. Run it level across there and bring it to it. We've got a mess in the corner here. That step's going to affect it. But that's going to give us, as long as we put that up against there and bring it there, we've now got the angle of the dangle to repeat now, haven't we? So we keep that and we don't knock it. We tie it up tight. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the angle of the dangle. Wow. Wow, that looks a bit extreme from here. But nevertheless, you know, we've measured it and we've registered the measure, haven't we? That's what it is. So now we've got to concentrate on fixing, you know, welding that on now, and burning this in. We've got double thickness here, so we can burn pretty strong here, and this we can burn like mad. So let's get quite a thick piece, and let's just marry this up first to begin with, and then we'll make a plate on the side to hold that in place. Yeah, but I mean, it's neither up nor down, it's flat, so it's not going to, gravity isn't going to pull it down as we work on it, or pull it out. So we're on the side, so let's fix this first and then move on from there. Yeah, fix this first, move on from there. It's very, very fragile. Ooh, very fragile. So when you're going through, remember, that'll do fine, but I don't want to cut that. Go to the bother of cutting it. I know I've got smaller, thinner bits somewhere. Yeah, that might come in handy. So when you're working your way, remember all these little bits work their way to the bottom of the tub. So we're only looking for little scraps that's going to do what we want to do. So today We're going to have to tip it. Oh, that's a good piece. We're going to have to tip it right to the very bottom and find the smaller scraps. That's going to just patch that up, hold it in place, and then we can burn the hell out of it. So let's go right to the very bottom of the tub and find the little bits that are going to be perfect for this job. Like this maybe. So I knew I'd find a piece. Look, we had this, but we didn't want to cut into strips, but we've got this, which is a lot smaller and will burn in there lovely. And we haven't had to cut, but we had to dig to the bottom of the pot to find this little piece, because over time and over searches, these are the bits that fall to the very bottom of the tub. So we're going to weld this first so we don't disturb this. Do this onto there. Then we'll come along here. This is a secure surface to work off now because it's fixed to that. And we'll come across here, we'll touch across here and we'll make that secure. Because this is double layered, we can go now and turn it and we'll weld in there and we'll melt this all into that as one. And we'll do the same the other side. And that will be the beginning. Then this is our actual solid fixing, and then from here we can do what the hell we want. Then we can re-bracket that, put another plate in here, we can do what we want. But this is the main piece now that's going to hold it in place. Do along there, that's fixed. Then come along here, I can tap on there, it's not going to knock it out of shape, and then I can reach over here, stitch all that together, and then that's our fixing. And just double check it then, double check it now, double check it then, make sure the angle of the is where we want it to be, and woohoo, we've got a solid connection, and we can just butcher around the whole lot of it then, it doesn't matter. So we've got it solid now. That's it ain't moving now. We've made our first solid connection. And we'll just double check the angle is about right, it's not far off. The corner's going to mess it up a little bit, and it's still boiling hot, but look, it's pretty good, isn't it? Pretty good, pretty much there. Yeah, it's pretty much there where we want to be. So let's now just make this into one big solid load of welding. And some of it's got to be sticking somewhere, isn't it? So we'll grind and clean, put another plate here, hammer this part into place, put another face plate on this one, and do around the other side. I won't put you to sleep watching all that. Let me just codge this all together now then. Remember, I showed you this, we dug this piece out the very bottom of the tub, didn't we? Scraped all the paint off it, you know, ground all the paint off it. That is just going to sit there. So I'm going to weld that across there and burn that in. So it's saved us a whole load of cutting shapes and whatever. We've just found that, that's going to fit there just nicely for what we want to do. And we'll burn in there, and we'll burn along here, and we'll burn along there, and we'll get a right good grip. And maybe we'll find another piece like that and do the other side, the front and the back, make one hell of a mess here, and then some of it's got to be gripping somewhere. So as you can see, I'm pretty much welding every surface onto every surface. I've put that over the top. I've got to do the other side yet. I'll get this and hammer that closer, make that there. We'll do this a better connection here. We've done that one pretty much all the way around, so let's just stick this one here and make that part of the blob. So we'll weld this to that, and that to this, and this to that. We might decide to cut that off, or we might just melt it in. Yeah, let's see how it goes. As we go along, we might be lucky and melt the whole thing in, cut through this, because the welder can cut as well as, if you hold it there for long, it can blow holes in it. So we might just blow the top of this off, actually. Yeah, so let's do this one and keep working our way around so that I'm always welding down surface. But solid now. Got a big gap to fill, so we're just going to stick that in there as metal. The thread, you can't really weld that all together in the form of a welding, but what you can do is you can get your nut and we'll put it in there. That'll sit there just like an extra piece of metal. We'll hold it in place with a non-welding piece. Hold on. We'll hold it in place until we get the first tack on, and then we'll burn the whole thing in. Them threads will disappear. You won't see that. That's just a sacrificial piece of metal to go in there to make up that gap. So we'll use that just to bring all them surfaces together. So we've pretty much hit everything everywhere. Melted every surface to every surface. Wow, there's some heat in there. I'll show you. Wow, it builds up heat, you know. Yeah, a lot of heat in there. Fetch that out, there's still heat in there. So let's now just wire brush, clean everything. Try and make this thing look pretty, and then hide it, possibly under a coat of paint. What do you think? Professional welders look away now. Even cowboy welders look away now. Yeah, that's got to be cool enough now. Before we satisfy ourselves that we've done a half decent job, let's send it to the Reggie famous, world famous testing department. I think it's passed its test. Yep. I think it may have passed its Reggie testing department, you know. And we'll give it the ultimate test and look at it from 3 feet away, and if it looks okay, it looks fine. Be very careful. Debbie's sister, can we show it? No. Debbie's sister just fell over and she went, hey wait, she went, come here. She went for a walk in the stream and she's hurt herself quite badly facially. Anyway, come on, do the ultimate test. What? Have you noticed something? Ooh, let's first put the level on it.
I've got no clothes on, it's cold out here.
Hold on. Yeah, level, pretty level, right.
It's wonky to the left, to the right.
Well, yeah, we'll sort that in a minute, right.
Stand on one leg like that, you'll be alright.
Go over there, don't touch any buttons. Is it still running?
Yeah.
Go back, we're going to do a hanging test.
I need to look where I'm going because it's a death trap in here.
You ready?
Yeah. Oh God, that don't look so good to me.
Well, it's got to be.
Did you have to make it bigger or something?
No, I had to make this thing dangle down. Right.
Don't fall.
Same as before. I'm nervous. Just the last. Yeah, come on. I haven't lifted myself. This is only the second time ever I've lifted myself. Right. If I fall. Right, I'm gripping. I'm holding. I'm going. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, we're up and going.
You're such a weirdo.
Just passed the test.
Going in, it's freezing.
Okay. Oh, as always, last little job of the day. And I've caught my thumb. You know, is it cuticle? Down the side here. I've slammed a bleeding drill into it. Anyway, that's going to hurt, that is. Oh, I can feel it already. Anyway, let's carry on. Moment of truth is fast approaching. What we'll do is when we're done, we'll fold it back onto itself there. So the way to the telly will be there, hopefully. That's about the middle where we wanted it to be. We have got a bit of twist on it. Did we allow enough of that? Anyway, are we going to finally shut the wife up and get the television out of her living room, the spare telly, and are we going to have a lovely big television in our workshop? Much the same as that one, but a bit bigger. Yeah. We are very much getting close to the moment of truth. We've just got to take this away and put this there in its place and hope the whole lot doesn't twist this beam over. So it's going to go up there. It's not going to get a lick of paint. It's going to go up there forever and rust away, isn't it? So that's got a good joint. That's got a good wasted of time here. We should have. Are we going to do that again? And do that one again. Are we going to hammer the top of this down close to the metal, get a big heavy hammer and smack that down so that it's touching, and then weld that on that side? And what did we do underneath here? Let's have a look. What did we do under there? Quite happy with all that. That's somehow connected, if you get what I mean. Fairly happy with all that side. This side, pretty happy with it. We did warm that. We did try and bend it over, but that didn't work. So, And again, that needs bashing down flat or clamping in the vise, doesn't it? And welding. So that needs doing, I think. We could, that's done the trick there. That's sort of got a connection there. It would probably do. There is quite a lot of leverage, and it is going to go up there and disappear, never to be seen again, and we don't really want it to drop the damn thing, do we? So I think we'll just put a bit more effort into it, do whether it doesn't really connect it in there, has it? So let's do that, do around the edge here that we've missed. Bash that flat, make that solid. There's those bolts, took up the space there. Quite happy with that lot, sort of, yeah. Oh, not bad. I've done worst. We've given it a test. It's just a case of belt and braces. We don't want the telly to drop down on us, do we? No, bash that closer, or clamp it closer, and then weld this edge, weld that edge, come past here and do a proper job on here, spend a bit more time making sure burn all this in, melt this all in, and I think we're not far off then, and maybe do one huge big blob there would be enough to make that stick onto that there. Yeah, but otherwise I think it's going to do the trick. It sort of deserves a lick of paint, doesn't it? But it's going to go up there, you're not going to see it, it's going to be behind the television. Yeah, so it's always worth double checking your work, because you know, when you're building it, you're concentrating on building it. So if you miss a patch out, it's always better to go back and catch up on the patch. I couldn't hammer that down, so I stuck it where I could. Same on the other side. Hold on. Oof. Now it's just become a heavy, unwieldy piece. But anyway, I'm more happy with that now. So we're ready to fit it now. Yeah, I'm a bit more satisfied about that. We're beyond the point of no return. I don't know what I've connected or I've disconnected. But anyway, this was the old bracket. Look, this is the old bracket. Again, it's a Reggie homemade invention. Reggie bolt. See, these have a welder. Welded this onto there. Look, this was the original thing. I I think it was off the sprinters, off the hold the bar underneath on the sprinters, I think. Welded angle iron onto it, hook onto the metal, weld the hook onto the bolt, bolt it together. See? A Reggie invention. And then, of course, the fitting bracket goes on there. Easy peasy. Right. Let's get the new one in. Oh, it's a good bit bigger. It's got to be 20 inches away from that edge there. So, let's see how many inches shall we give ourselves. There's 20, yeah, it's got to be at least 20 inches. So, 20 inches and a bit more. I think it's got to be here, you know. I know that makes it that way, but because we don't know where we're going to go, hopefully it'll go back there in the middle, like that. So, yeah. It's about the right place. So now that bracket's pulled up nice and tight, it's lifted the nose of this up. So how many inches did we want above the television set to the middle of the bracket? We've got about a foot, haven't we? I don't think it's enough. I think it was like 17 inches. Oh, we might have to drop this down one. Let's go and measure. Oh, might do. From the middle of the bracket, it was about a foot, wasn't it? So there's a foot. It's going to be mighty close. A foot to the middle of the bracket. Yeah. Just. Let's go and measure that side again. So, what did we say? A foot to the middle of the bracket. Yeah, a foot to the middle of the bracket. It's going to just. If I take that off, it might just swing underneath. It's going to be around there somewhere. Yeah, not bad. Higher the better, really.
How are you doing?
What? Should we tilt it? Is it tilting forward too much?
It's tilting downwards a bit.
Yeah. We can hold that right then. Go on then, push that. Go back on your step. Push it backwards.
He needs me to assist.
Shut up. What? I need you to hold it. I need you to tilt that back. See her? You can't see now. Well, I'll do that in a minute. Yeah. I'll have that. That'll do fine. Just got to plug it in and everything. It's a bit big, isn't it? Tomorrow. Yeah. Okay.
That's recording.
Oh, I'll put the bowl back in there now. Okay.
You're going to catch yourself on that, you know.
Nah, well, I can always move it across again. If we need to. No, I don't think so. It's going to be impressive, isn't it?
It's a bit fucking big.
Don't swear.
Oh, don't do that. Don't get me swearing.
It's a bit...
It's a bit big, Reg.
It's a bit big.
It needs to go over a bit more, I think.
Which way?
Towards the window.
No, it'll be right. It's the way it is. Tilt it in there. Mess with the mechanism.
I'm going to walk into that.
No, if I do it that way.
Oh, that looks better.
Yeah.
You might have to cover that up when you're welding, though.
I don't know.
Just a nice little mat or something just to throw on it, just to protect the screen when you're welding.
Anyway, it's got it out your room. You're going to stop nagging me now.
Well, it has took you 3 months.
There's the bracket. What do you mean 3 months?
Well, it's took you 3 months.
Why?
Because I had the new telly at Christmas.
Oh yeah, doesn't time fly? Look at this distraction.
Look at the distraction from my paint.
I've got a
And notice I've put white paint on the top of that as well.
Can I carry on and tidy up now?
Reg.
What?
What tidying up are you doing?
I was doing fine with the tidying up.
Let me in here
No.
for half a day.
The dead man's
I'll
shed
throw
came and
rubbish
distracted
away.
me.
I'll throw rubbish away.
The shelving
put
distracted
stuff away.
me.
If If you put stuff away, you make yourself
Now the television's going to distract me. Anyway, tomorrow
put stuff away.
we'll plug things in, and it's your job tomorrow. Get this thing fired up and running.
Should be able to just stuck it in and it'll work.
We'll see. I might tinker. I might
I'm
not.
not coming out here. It's raining tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
You need to just tidy all this stuff up now.
Yeah. Bye. Get out. This is my man cave. It's a husband's shed. This
Yeah,
is.
but it just drives me mad. Do you think you used to keep your bike in here?
Have you ever been thrown out of a building before? Pick a window. You're going out.
You can try.
Pick a window. You're going out. Woo!
Anyway, you
Right.
needed me to lift the blooming thing up, didn't you?
Go on then.
Couldn't manage on your own.
Um,
Needed my muscles.
hell of a height.
Now, that has.
Hell of a height. Hell of a size. Well,
Oh, it's just like to rain.
Reggie OTT.
Just like to rain.
Reggie OTT with the TV. OTT. You can't say I'm not OTT. Right. Oh, dear me. Was that a mistake? Was that a mistake putting that there? I'm not sure. Oh, dear me. So, that's interesting. We've got it running. The CCTV is working, but the picture is a bit high, isn't it? I'd probably press the buttons in settings or something. Let's go see if we can get Fire Stick. Now we've got the Fire Stick working. Ho ho! That's all we need now. Sometimes a bit slow, or sometimes if the phone is in here, it disturbs it. But anyway, we have got YouTube and the Fire Stick working, so... look, it's coming slowly. Busy in it, so... Sometimes it does it, sometimes it don't.